Y'all, I be low-key feeling like my walks are thriving. Yes, yes. Not that y'all care or anything like that. Hey y'all, it's Ashley Bookishrealm and I'm back with another video. So today I am here to talk a little bit about what my reading plans are for the month of July. I did okay with some of my reading plans from June. June became a very interesting month for me. I have some stuff going on in the background. So I have ended up reading quite a bit, but not as much as I anticipated for the month of June, just because I just had so much going on. And honestly, July is not really going to be any different. I'm not going to even sit here and lie to y'all in front like July is going to be different, because it definitely is not going to be different. I wish it was, but it's not. So we're here to talk a little bit about some stuff that I do plan on reading in the month of July, or I'm hoping to get to in the month of July. If I don't get to it, I don't get to it. Like, not a big deal. We're not going to stress it. Okay. So I am going to talk a little bit about some things that I do have rolling over from the month of June. It's not a lot of stuff that's rolling over from the month of June, because it's not a lot of stuff that I think I wanted to roll over from the month of June, but some of the things that I do have rolling over from the month of June are going to include A Taste of Magic by JL. I really need to get to this one. This comes out in August. I don't know what exact day in August, but I do need to get to it so I can get a review up, because it does come out in August and I don't want to put it off. I feel like I keep putting it off and it's just not happening, and it's not good. So I will probably try my damnness to get to this one in July. I was about to say in June, or I feel like I was actually about to say in February, but you know, who knows what I have going on. I also was not able to get to my reads of Days on Fez. I am going to, this may seem completely wild, and I think it is wild. I don't know why I would try to do this to myself. I low-key want to do like another 30 and 30, because I had so much fun doing that, and I got to explore a lot of different manga, and then I also just got to really get through a lot of manga that I had been meaning to read for a while. And there are some series that I started because of the 30 and 30, and I want to catch up on those series and finish those series, and the 30 and 30 just really motivated my soul and my spirit. So I just kind of feel like I low-key want to do another 30 and 30. I don't know if I will vlog it this time, but yeah, I kind of want to do another 30 and 30, but I do know that I need to get to Days on Fez, because I really enjoy this series and I have not gotten to volume 3 and 4. I may end up picking these up as soon as I get off camera. Who knows? Y'all know me. I be wilding out a whole bunch. And I can't remember if I mentioned this in my June reading plans or not, but I want to continue with this series, Seaside Stranger. This is a BL manga about two guys who end up meeting at one point. One of them ends up going away to school, doesn't keep in contact, and he comes back and it's like, I want to be in a relationship with you, and the other guy's like, but no. Like, it don't work like that. And so we kind of follow their relationship and them kind of getting to know each other again. And so I'm really truly excited to continue with this. I did start this one because it still is June. It will still be June by the time that this video goes up, and I may finish this before June is over with, but if I don't, it will carry over to July. All right, and so those are just a handful of things, like literally a very small amount of things that are going to roll over from the month of July, so, or from the month of June. I can't get it right. I just cannot get this right. I cannot get it right. Okay, so some things that I'm currently reading, which it's interesting because I always feel like I have a lot going on when it comes to currently reading. So right now I am reading Zyla and Kai, which I have like literally 3 hours because of speed. I have 3 hours left on that. I am going to try to finish that literally by the time that I get off of this. I need to finish this because it's due literally right. It's literally due like soon, like in 4 hours. And so I need to get that done. I have some stuff on my Libby that I probably will get to in July, that I'm hoping to get to in July, which includes The Kings of Bmore, Hell Followed With Us, Jumper, The Civil War of Amos Abernathy, Onyeka and the Academy of the Sun, We Are Not Broken by George M. Johnson. I'm really excited for that one. TJ Power Has Something to Prove, Deep in Providence, The Counselors, Spy Camp, and The Ruin of Kings. So those are books that I kind of have keyed up right now on my Libby shelf. I have all of my holds maxed out, but I don't know what's going to come in first, you know, and then when one comes in, they all come in at one time. If you have Libby, if you have access to a library that has Libby, you know exactly what I mean when I am saying that. So I'm going to go ahead and say that there's probably a whole plethora of things that will come through within the next couple weeks that I will be reading. In terms of my physical books, I feel like I have more manga and graphic novels here than anything, because of the fact that that's kind of been my headspace for the past couple of days. And I only have, like, in my physical pile here, because I didn't want to count the audiobooks, in my physical pile here I only have 6 things that I really want to get to in the month of July, which is interesting that I have been, and you'll see this when I talk about my top books from June, which, if you did not notice, I haven't been doing recent reads for the month of June because my life literally has just been that chaotic. I have not had the time, but we will pick it back up in July. But you'll see when I do my top books for June that literally most of the books that I have read have been all graphic novels, because it's been just my kind of what I've been clinging to. And so yeah, but I do have a couple of physical books off of my shelf that I do want to read. I have been looking at my physical shelves lately, y'all, and it has come to my attention that it has become a problem. I am such an avid user of the library, which I love the library. I work for the library. I support libraries everywhere. And so I find it very easy to go and shop the shelves at the library, and it eases and it constantly curves that desire to want to buy stuff. I literally just, oh, I want to read this, put it on hold. Oh, I see this, I want to put it on hold. Oh, I saw this on the shelf, pick it up and, you know, check it out. And so what ends up happening in the grand scheme of things is that I end up neglecting my shelves, and it is a huge problem because I get sent a lot of stuff from publishers, and some of y'all are very kind enough to send me things, and I really appreciate that. And sometimes, you know, there's a book or two that I want for my own collection, and what I have noticed is my collection, as you can see behind me, has gotten out of control. There's a lot of stuff on my shelves at this point that I have not read. And so it makes me very nervous to think about the amount of stuff now that I have that's unread. And so I think for the rest of this year, I think every month I need to be reading at least 3 to 4 books from my physical shelf. Even if I listen to it on audio, or, you know, like I borrow it from Libby, or I listen to it from Anyplay, like I need to be reading off of this shelf, because it's too much now and it's becoming quite a problem. So I do have 6 here. Some of them I may be listening to on audio, but these are 6 titles, whether I get to them all or not, but these are 6 titles that I know that I want to read off of my shelf for the month of July. And I am wondering if maybe like I should do some type of like check-in where it's like, okay, you know, I have some stuff on my shelf that I want to read. Let's see if I actually read those things, and kind of play back and give you my thoughts on that stuff. So y'all let me know if that's a thing that you might be interested in. So the first one that I have is actually a anthology, and it is Fresh Ink. This includes a lot of authors that I'm familiar with, like Sharon G. Flake, Melinda Lowe, Ellen O, Walter D. Myers, Daniel Jose Older, Jason Reynolds, Jin Luen Yang, Nicola Yoon, and this is a selection of stories that are from contemporary adventure, science fiction, fantasy that cover a plethora of different topics, including identity, gun violence, poverty, etc. And so I've had this on my shelf for a while. I believe this was a gift from Bethany, and I think what really drew me to this, first of all, is that it includes I don't know if it's an unfinished story or an unpublished story by Walter Dean Myers, but I am very, very excited to pick this up because I need to read more of Walter Dean Myers' backlist, and I'm very interested in seeing how this was incorporated. Like any anthology, I'm sure there's going to be stories in here that I'm going to like and others that may not I may not connect with as well, but this is one off my shelf that I did want to pick up. The next one that I have is one that people should be pretty familiar with, and this is Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. As you can see, I actually have already started reading this one because I was slowly making my way through it and tabbing it. I am not that far in, actually. I'm only 26 pages into it, so really I just made it through the prologue of this one, and it is it's a very interesting prologue, and I'm doing a blended read of this one, so I'm listening to it and reading it physically at the same time because it kind of helps me when I am reading fantasies that are like this and they're adult and they're kind of out of my comfort zone. So yeah, I am excited to go through and see if I can finish this one in the month of July. I don't know much about this one, like literally even going in, it's kind of hard to say what the story is about. I know that it focuses on a man that's supposed to be kind of the hope of like survival for his entire group of people, and it has been, I guess, tagged as kind of a Game of Thrones meets Gladiator. I don't know if that's a good thing. A lot of these like major fantasy books, like they love to compare them to Game of Thrones, and everything doesn't need to be compared to Game of Thrones. I don't know if publishers do that because of the success of said comparison or whatever. I don't know. I don't necessarily like that, but I have started reading this one, and so far it's been interesting. Of course, I had to add this to the list. This came out in May, and I hadn't had the opportunity to read it yet, and this is Private Label by Kelly Yang. This is her latest YA book, which I have not read yet. I have read everything. I think the only thing that I haven't read by Kelly Yang is a picture book that she's recently done, but everything else that she's written I have read, and so this is one that I had not read yet, and I don't know why I put it off for so long, but I did decide to get a copy of it. It focuses on two characters. There is a main character by the name of Serene who is working for her mom's fashion label. She wants to make couture dresses, and so unfortunately her mom ends up being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and she ends up going on this hunt to find her father, which her mother did not want her to do because her mother's all about like, we don't look back, you just keep moving forward, and so she's kind of struggling with that. And then we have a second perspective, which is from a guy by the name of Leon, and he's just moved from China to Southern California, and the town is really, really wealthy, predominantly white. He doesn't fit in, and he decides to start this Chinese club, and so him and Serene end up meeting, and then they end up falling in love. So this seems like it's going to be a contemporary romance, but I never trust that with Kelly Yang, because even with Parachutes, the cover looks like really contemporary, like not, going to be heavy hitting, but it is super heavy, and the cover is misleading, and I would not be surprised if Private Label is the same way. And this, I really haven't heard that many people talking about this book, and I'm very confused as to why, like what happened between reading The Gilded Ones, and I haven't really heard a lot of people pick up The Merciless Ones, but I'm excited to read it because I love The Gilded Ones. I mean, it was extremely dark and it was hard to read in some sections, but I really, really enjoyed it, and so I do want to pick up The Merciless Ones. I don't want to tell you anything about it because it is a sweet sequel, and I almost feel like I need to do a reread of The Gilded Ones because there are some minor details that I think I've forgotten since I've read it, because it's been a long time since I read it. It's been over 6 months since I've read The Gilded Ones, and so, or maybe even longer than that. I can't remember when I read it, but it's been a long time since I read it. Let's just put it that way. It's been a long time since I read The Gilded Ones, and so I may reread that before I pick up the Merciless ones, but this cover is absolutely gorgeous. The next one that I have here is Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. This, of course, got a lot of traction when it was first released. I had not had the chance to read it yet. I'm really interested in reading it solely because I love Black Cake. Everybody's not a fan of Black Cake. I grew up on it. I love it. Everybody doesn't love it, but I enjoy Black Cake. And so it is about a woman who leaves behind a traditional black cake and a recording for her 2 sons. And in the recording, she's telling the story about a young swimmer who basically escapes the island under probably the possibility of being a murderer, and there's also this tale about a long lost child, and so she tells them to share the black cake when the time is right, and it's about them learning more about their own lineage and probably trying to build a bond that they once had together as siblings. And I think that this one, I've seen people who really enjoyed it and other people who think it's a little on the dry side, so I thought it would be interesting for me to kind of see how I feel about it. And I believe that it may be told in alternating perspectives, which is cool, or more than one perspective, but we'll see what happens. And the last adult literary fiction one that I have here is Women of Light, and this one follows an indigenous Chicano family that spans 5 generations. I am a huge fan of what I like to call kind of family sagas or generational stories, where we are capturing the experience of many different generations in one single story. And so I like Pachinko, Homegoing. Those are kind of examples of books of like family sagas that I have loved. So this follows a main character who ends up being on her own when her brother is run out of town by a white mob, and she's navigating Denver in like the 1930s, and she begins having visions of what it was like for her indigenous family and how they were threatened. And so she's able to put the pieces and parts together of her past and really figure out how to save her family. And I haven't really seen reviews, and I also have not gone looking for reviews of this one just yet, so I'm not too sure how people have received this one just yet, but I know that it is one that I am excited to pick up. All right, so that's it for like the major books that are on my shelf. I do have some manga that I may want to pick up because it's stuff that I have checked out and need to work through, and I'm not going to really go through descriptions of this. I also have like 3 picture books that I want to read as well. Well, more than 3 picture books, but these are 3 that I probably will. I mean, I could literally read these 3 picture books right now, but I'm going to put them in here because I probably won't read them right now. I do have Maid Sama checked out. I'm watching the anime right now, and the anime is so cute, y'all. And so I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that I have the 2-in-1 editions checked out, and so I need to go ahead and read that because I've been enjoying the anime so much. I love the anime. It's so good. I have the Demon Prince of Momochi House, which I put this one on hold and checked it out on recommendation from Shay. I have A Galaxy Next Door, which is one that I just saw that was on order from my library, and I decided to check it out. I don't really know much about it, but I thought that it would be cool. I also have For the Kid I Saw in My Dreams Volume 2. I read Volume 1 and really enjoyed it. It is on the darker side. It's not a super light one, but it is enjoyable. And so what you're seeing here is like I have quite a few options, like if I wanted to do the 30 and 30 again. I have Daytime Shooting Star Volume 1 as an option as well. I have Beastars Volume 2, which I enjoyed Volume 1, and I want to really continue the rest of the series. I just recently got Dr. Stone Volume 3 checked out from the library. I was collecting this, and then I was not like a huge fan of Volume 2, which I own, and I was like, I think I'm just going to check out the rest of these from the library because I don't know if I want to invest my money into it. And so here's Volume 3, which I hope to get to very soon as well. And then I think I talked about this one maybe a little bit in my June reading plans, I don't know, but it's Toilet Bound Hananako-kan, and so I've heard really great like character development things about this one, so I'm looking forward to picking this one up as well. Why I can't talk. And then I have one middle grade graphic novel that I am currently reading that I think I'm going to get finished in July, and that is Goddess Girls, Athena on the Brain. This is a graphic novel adaptation of the Goddess Girls book series. I don't know if they're going to adapt all of them. I know they're also adapting the Heroes in Training as a graphic novel series, so I think it's really interesting, and these circulate very, very well at the library because kids love the Goddess Girls and the Heroes in Training series, and now that they're in graphic novel format, kids will eat them up. And the 3 picture books that I have on my list are Hannah and the Ramadan Gift, which I've been meaning to read for forever, and then Jaden's Impossible Garden, which I feel like me and baby girl started reading this one and I felt like it was just a little too long for her attention span, being 2. I just thought it was maybe just a little too much for her. And then one that I have been meaning to get to that I haven't gotten to, and that is With Great Power, The Marvelous Stan Lee, which is a children's nonfiction look at the biography of Stan Lee, which is unauthorized. So this is not anything that Marvel has really invested money into or anything like that, but I think that this is probably pretty interesting, and so I do want to read this one because as a Marvel fan, how can I not? All right, y'all, so those are like pretty much all the things that I have picked out for the month of July. I'm not gonna go past that because I don't know what my month is really going to look like when it's all said and done, but I'm hoping that it can be a productive month. But I have a lot, so much going on right now. I am super stressed. You can't tell, but I'm like super stressed, and so hopefully I will even get to the pile of things that I have. So maybe it's not wise for me to be like, oh, I want to do 30 and 30, but we'll see how the month works out, and if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But anyway, as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, click the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Let me know in the comments below what are some of your July reading plans, and I'll be back with another video soon.